Hello everyone, welcome back to Technology Looks Good to Me, techLGTM. This is our episode number 6. Sorry we took a little more time than usually we do because I was busy in launching Flix share list, which is a very exciting feature in Flix. If you're not downloaded Flix, I would urge you to download Flix so that you know what to watch and where to watch. So moving on to what we are going to talk about today, there are a couple of, a lot of events have happened since last we recorded an episode. There are a couple of major things which we are going to cover in this episode. Other stuff like we talked previously was like about SPAC and stuff, and there are quite a few SPAC which have launched, so you can check out on Google News and somewhere that new SPACs. But let's move on to the events we want to cover. One is about Google, another is Apple event. So Preet, do you want to talk about Google? What new thing is happening at Google?
Hey, sure. So, a lot of things happened in this space, especially what Google has introduced. Google keeps on pushing minor updates, but apparently this was one of the biggest updates to the search engine since a long time. So just to give you guys an idea of what actually changed is earlier what Google used to do is they would try to find out the search context of what you search in the search query by saying they will find spelling differences and try to figure out context by saying that what is the difference in one out of 10 queries, and then they will figure out whether if you search for Back to the Future and you misspell future, then they will try to figure out whether you're searching for Back to the Future or feature, and then they will give you interesting results or closer results to what you are trying to search. But now they have claimed that now they have introduced a new kind of neural net that actually runs through more than 680 million parameters once you are searching for something. So that essentially means any gibberish that you type in, they can figure out the context and tell you exactly what you were looking for. So there was an interesting example that I saw online that where somebody had typed in diaper bear me, and that actually means nothing to us, but when you translate that, Google actually translated that to diners near me. And that is exactly what people wanted to search. So now the capabilities are definitely increased from where they were. This is definitely an interesting change to their search engine.
So I think definitely it will help the users save 1 or 2 clicks, right?
Yeah.
Or actually change the spelling much better, much early, right?
Yeah.
But what is interesting out of this news, and there's a small nugget here, is they mentioned about having a neural net which is close to 680 million parameters, right?
Yep.
Just to give a comparison, we know that GPT-3 has come out with their own neural net model, which is on the transport mode model, and it is trained on 175 billion parameters, right? And that's
175 billion.
Yes, that's a much bigger model, right? So that just shows that even though the Google has actually this model which is actually performing fairly well, but they have a long way of actually training the model to the same level as GPT-3, and probably they are working on it right now.
They're catching up to GPT-3 then. And by the way, GPT-3 is from OpenAI, where I think Elon Musk is involved in that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
That was an interesting piece of information. Does Google also contribute to that, the Open AI project?
I don't think so. I mean, Google was hosting their servers, and then their TPUs, transfer processing units, were involved in basically training their initial model for the OpenAI. But then the OpenAI moved from the Google Cloud to the now Azure, Microsoft. So that was actually a big loss for Google in general.
Okay. So this was interesting.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Amol. So the other interesting changes that Google has actually introduced is earlier they had something called as Google's Open Data Commons project. That was essentially the data graph or knowledge graph for Google, where, for example, they had the census information, population information, integrations into GOV sites, where you could find out the median average salary of particular locations and things like that. Now they've integrated that with the regular Google search. So you can type in something as simple as Chicago's average median salary for plumbers, and it'll give you the exact graph for that particular year or the year before that. So they have done some. They what they did is just brought back some information what they already had in a nicer form.
Okay. Nice.
I think the other couple of interesting things that I found was uh, what they did with YouTube videos in general is they had some kind of intelligence around Google videos or videos that were uploaded to YouTube to figure out what the context of the videos were. But now what they have claimed to do is they started processing these videos through their video intelligence API that they've also released for public use. That can extract some intelligent tags about what this video is about. So they can make better recommendations in their Google algorithms, search algorithms, as well as YouTube recommendations. So, and this can primarily be very useful for any context-based searches where you say, how do I mount a TV? Or how do I change the tire of my car? So instead of directly giving you a how-to wiki, now they will give you, they can give you a do-it-yourself tutorial. So these are minor changes where they might benefit a lot of people, though.
So I think it's quite interesting again, because especially with the short video creation, content is picking up very, very fast. And then also that means generally people are creating. We saw that with the TikTok as well. So
Yeah,
Google is putting a lot of its effort actually to read the video frame by frame and understanding the information from that. So this will be interesting for the where the future is going eventually.
Yeah. I think like that's where like I mean, I'm surprised they're doing it now, but it's better late than never, because most of the people actually are actually. I mean, Google has their own service which they have did it for developers. Like we were looking at Google Cloud services, and there we found there's one of the service where you can actually upload a video and an audio, and they will do text to speech kind of stuff, and then you get all the keywords there, and you can do a lot of stuff there. So now that they're doing with YouTube stuff, that's yeah, that's cool.
And I think the lot of questions and queries are there about the DIY, right? I mean, why my phone is not charging, how to mount a TV, how to do
yeah,
this, right? The number of queries going on, and then people looking for immediate information
So
is very,
yeah,
very important.
true. I mean, and as we were talking before, also is like what Google is slowly doing with everything is like they are coming up with their own cards and everything, like how to solve a particular problem, because they understand people come to Google when they have no, they're seeking an answer, like how to do certain things or whatever stuff is that, and Google is actually slowly actually getting more and more information, parsing information on different sites. I mean, YouTube is of course their own site, and putting that as a card, so that you are spending more time on Google search itself. I mean,
yeah,
and their take would be more like, okay, we are helping you solve the problem straight away before you click a site and you go on that site and figure out that this was not the site. Google wants to solve that problem also, that this is the best site you should go for with all those kind of stuff. So it's more contextual.
why is that, Shashank? Why do you think Google wants you to spend all their time on Google?
There are a couple of things there. One, the biggest thing is like, okay, most time you spend on Google, more activity you do on the google.com, the search engine, they can know more about you, what kind of stuff you like, what kind of data
Yeah,
you want to play around with. And more information means only one thing, that they can make more money on you.
exactly.
Yeah, I think also
I-
the other dumb reason could be that basically there's a super PM for the Google search, and he has his own KPIs to meet for the engagement numbers, right? And that can only happen. That can only
So
happen
bring in everything.
yeah, bring in everything. That means
I mean,
also basically more and more you spend the time in the Google itself and the search itself. That means spending less time going to other website and getting used to it, right? We are
Yeah,
more used to the same UI of the Google.
yeah,
Also, the recall value of if I find something in the Google itself, I will definitely go into Google only, right? And I know that I will find the answer right there. So as a brand value, also it increases as a recall. That okay, for example, we go to Google Maps when we are navigating immediately. That's a brand value. When you take the Uber, because we know that Uber will take us to somewhere else. So
yep.
similarly, more and more features are added, more and more basically brand value increases that way.
I mean, actually, they did a couple of really interesting things because we guys started talking about the whole ecosystem what Google is providing. One of the really cool things that they added recently is as part of the Google Lens product, where you can directly take a picture. I mean, this would be helpful when I was in school, but like regardless, but it would definitely help the kids today. But you can take a picture of a math problem, like a complicated equation, and it will tell you how to solve it. So that is one of a hard problem to solve, like because there are so many intricacies involved with image processing and then searching it through like so many complexities. And now they're fine, and now they made it free also. So this is kind of interesting.
That is very crazy actually, because I like everyone is gonna cheat. Like Google is officially allowing all the math students to actually cheat uh, if they have access to the phone or something. Who in the right mind will not do that actually? Like people who are very honest about stuff, they might actually end up trying to solve the problem. Most of the guys will know, hey, Google can solve this. Take a picture, let's do it.
I think we should look into the product manager for this particular product. He might have flunked his math class, I'm guessing. That's why he created something like that.
Well, clearly he's actually solving it in a very interesting way, because ultimately this solving this problem with the ML is not that easy also, because when the math problem is given to you, it has equations at multiple layers, right? So first of all, if it's written in handwriting, then it has to be basically decipher the handwriting first, right? Second thing is you have to divide the math problem into different lines. So understand with the ML where the white spacing starts, and then each line is divided and then taken as a tile and sent it to ML to actually do the calculation, and then all of that has to combine back immediately as a final solution. So it's a quite interesting problem to solve, and I think probably Google could have done that easily.
That's cool. Yeah. What else? Is there anything else in Google?
I mean, not super interesting. I think there were some minor upgrades into their maps. So that's kind of okay. They already had that where they had integrated AR in their Google Maps. But now if you are on Google Maps, you hover over any existing local businesses, you can directly see their timings. So that's kind of neat. But instead of 2 steps, now they've reduced this to 1 step. So that's like minor changes.
Gradual evolution actually. Like I mean, all the data is there. That they're just augmenting a little more on the AR side, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
But
cool.
They also, sorry, Amol, what were you saying?
So I think it is cool, but basically I see that Google Maps in general is already very feature rich, right? And I think now they are getting less ideas about what to do more in there. That's why they're moving towards more of an AR, where you can point something and get the information.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Maybe later in the future, once you point on a restaurant, they'll show you a 3D view and let you book the exact table that you want to pick in the restaurant. That would be kind of cool. Without even entering the restaurant, you can directly.
What will be creepy is that somehow they figure out what is going inside the restaurant.
Real time, they have a camera also.
They had something like Google Glass for that.
No, they have the Google Nest, which actually they connect with, and they can figure out what's going on inside.
Shashank has a Google Nest.
Yeah, that brings me to the next topic actually. Unless we have something more about Google, I think.
I think that was pretty much it with what happened. Yeah.
So I think next interesting stuff would be like, which most of the viewer would want to know. Probably they would have already seen quite a few people about the Apple event. Like Apple just had an event a couple of days back about launching new iPhones, which was one of the most weighted events for this year, especially in pandemic. And so as expected, they announced new phones, mostly iPhone 12. There are 4 versions of iPhone 12, and they also announced another gadget called HomePod Mini. So they had HomePod. Probably, as far as I know, and as far industry knows, it's not that selling well because it was an expensive piece of smart speaker. So they came out with a Google Home Mini, HomePod Mini, which is which is priced at $99. What do you think who's going to buy here? Amol, Preet?
I don't think
I
I'm
mean,
going to
I
buy.
get my Echo for like $20 on, I think, one of the sale days, and same thing with Google Home, like 20, $25, or maybe $30. Why would I spend $100 on that?
Yeah, I
What does
think
it have?
even I'm not going to buy this. I think it seems to be too expensive, also featureless, right? I think we were talking earlier that I think I have a Google Home at home, and then I think it's also the new version also works as an extender to the Wi-Fi also. So the number of features in the HomePod Mini seems to be much lesser as compared to what is available in the Alexa and then also the Google Home Mini anyway.
Yeah, like I recently upgraded my Wi-Fi to Google Nest Wi-Fi with a mesh network, and that came with like one router and three extender. Extender itself has the Google Home smart capabilities, and it's a speaker. So it acts as a Wi-Fi stuff. It acts as a speaker. Now I have four of those speakers, and I already had two Google Homes. So I have six speakers all across my home. I mean, six spies actually. Just kidding.
Yeah, I was about to say, now Google knows what's going on in every room.
Yeah. so So yeah, I mean, like, but the utility there is quite good actually. Like I have smart speakers all around. Like I play, like we have been using more and more of background music. Like I get up in the morning, I'll put some background music in a light, very light tone, and it's pretty awesome that it's in all the rooms there, and I can use it for various things actually. So Google, I mean, HomePod Mini, I think it's only for Apple fans, like who really want like really nice. It looks really good actually. Like what thing about Apple is like it visually really good. I have heard that the speakers are really good there, but then most of the people already have smart speaker by now, so they're late in the market, and the
Yeah.
capability are also pretty less than what you would expect.
Yeah,
Cool.
The other,
exactly. They also launched the new iPhone, right? What do you guys think about that?
yeah,
I mean,
iPhone
I
12.
watched the event.
that was the main event, main highlight of the event. Their invitation said high speed. So iPhone, as expected, it was all about iPhone 5G. So
Yeah.
iPhone has four new models: iPhone 12 mini, iPhone 12. I should say the price also. iPhone 12 mini. The price is not mini; it's $699. iPhone 12, iPhone 12 is $799. Then they have iPhone 12 Pro, which is $999. And iPhone 12 Pro Max. That's $1,099. So these were the four
Okay.
main stuff, and the biggest thing on all those iPhone 12 was like all iPhone 12 has standard 5G in chips inside it, so it can connect to the new latest and greatest 5G network, which is supposed to be really really fast. But
What 5G network? Shashank, which 5G network are you talking about? The one that is not launched yet, and
uh,
Apple is already ready for it?
yes, that's the one I'm
Uh,
talking about. So the
Nice. That's what I thought.
Verizon also announced on the same day that okay, the 5G Verizon 5G network is available nationwide, but there's a catch there.
Of course.
What they are doing is to become a 5G network nationwide. They are using the same spectrum which is used by the 4G. So this you're not getting 5G speeds yet, even though you can connect to the 5G network, but it will still be 4G. And there will be spots where the real 5G network is there, but it's long. It's gonna take us a long, quite a few years, I would say. If not a year, there will be a couple of years to actually get a large 5G network where you can really get the 5G download speeds.
So
So you're saying this iPhone is future ready, but
But
next year when Apple launches another iPhone,
yeah,
what happens to 5G iPhone
it,
12?
it sounds like a fancy feature to announce, but actually it's not immediately usable, right?
yeah,
Generally,
Exactly.
and that's actually very new to Apple. Generally, Apple is usually late entrant to some technology, but actually works, right? And
yeah.
brings the whole ecosystem together with it.
Yeah.
Um,
But I
and
think
this is a
the problem why they had to launch it, because if you remember, Samsung launched, I think last year they launched 5G as a phone with the 5G chips and everything inside it. The Samsung phones were there. There are quite a few other Android phones which have 5G already there. So they were already being told as it's late in the market. They were expecting 5G iPhone last year, 2019. So there was too much pressure from the shareholders and all the investors also that if Apple didn't launch 5G this year, people
Yeah.
might not again upgrade because people wanted 5G. Even if the network is not ready, they wanted to be future proof and everything. So I think that Apple gave in this time that they want to launch 5G, and most likely Verizon would have promised Apple that okay, within a year they will have at least the large metro areas will have 5G connections there.
So basically, right now I'm very happy customer of the Apple, and I have 8 Plus, and it's working fine for me. Big question is that every time this phone launch happens, I ask myself, is it worth it to actually upgrade or not? Because my current phone works perfectly fine.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Is anyone who is a 10 or above, particularly, is it worth upgrading right now, or anything
Man,
so
I,
interesting?
I am going to upgrade. I am on X. I don't iPhone 10, but I'm still going to upgrade. I don't know why, Amol, but I am going to. I don't have a right answer for you,
So,
but that's how Apple is.
so that means basically we have a fanboy. That explains that why they are 2 trillion in the
Like
market cap.
yeah, like at least like I think last you bought an iPhone was 2 years back, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm on iPhone 8 now, and that was 3 years back, and I skipped a couple of versions because I really hated the notch, but I think like the now we have to live with it. So I am seriously thinking about actually pre-ordering, which starts actually tomorrow. So if all the listeners, if you want to get the apples on 23rd of October, then you have to pre-order tomorrow.
That's just the Pro, though, right? Not the Max.
Yeah, no, the pre-order starts on 6th of November, and this was all delayed because of the pandemic stuff, and there were some manufacturing delays, and that's why this event was also delayed.
So technically the pre-order starts midnight tonight. Is that correct?
For Pro.
For Pro.
Oh, bro, yeah. Yo, bro. The other stuff like some minor stuff, some not minor stuff, not minor for Amol, I think. All the iPhone 12 has LiDAR inbuilt in it. iPhone Pro, I think. The Pro has a LiDAR lens or camera, what do you call it? LiDAR camera in the back of the phone. So you want to say something about that?
Yes, I think that's a again very interesting thing to add in the phone itself. I don't know if any other phone has this feature so far. LiDAR generally costs about close to 75,000, and the early self-driving cars used to have this LiDAR, right? Especially the Venmo, the self-driving car for the Google, right?
Yeah.
And then many of these new cars that we have, like Tesla and all that, they are not dependent on that. They are dependent on the normal cameras and then the neural net processing the images, right? So putting that expensive thing and then making it less expensive and putting it into camera actually opens up a lot of options for AR, right? And some of the demos that they have shown are looking so amazing in the
I think they also did another awesome stuff with the LiDAR stuff is they are not just using LiDAR for the AR. They are like I was looking through it and that's why I get impressed with Apple quite a few times is that they have used LiDAR not just for the AR stuff. They have using it for the night vision, enhancing the images. So the new iPhone 12 Pro night vision photo is like unreal. Like some of the pictures I've
Yeah.
seen in the demo is like really amazing, and that's why I want to upgrade the phone just for one thing is the camera. Because like iPhone 8 is fine, it captures decent photos, but now I see the camera is like way like 100 times better than what I have in my iPhone right now.
Even 11 Pro, they did an amazing job with the camera. I mean, there were comparisons where wedding photographers actually shot the entire shoot just with their iPhones and they compared it with DSLRs. And iPhone photos came out much better in a lot of instances.
With their neural engine and stuff, they are actually enhancing the pictures they are taking. Though, oh, so that photo brings another point which I want to mention is like they are coming up with a new format called some raw photos, and which captures everything, and you can tweak and change a lot of stuff using that raw. And most of the photo editors will actually support that you can tweak So it's capturing a lot of focus on all those stuff, LiDAR information and everything inside the raw format of the picture, so that you can actually manipulate the focus, manipulate a lot of things from the raw image. So that would be another big, huge thing.
Yeah, I think as compared to DSLR or the iPhone cameras and their photos are becoming important and better. I think because the combination of hardware and then software tweaks, right? Hardware is one thing, and then DSLR cameras are able to do the great job with the hardware. But the game changes when you bring in the software in there, right? And only basically iPhones and those phones and now can do that. At one point of time, I know that um, the Google phones were actually much better with their software, but I think the iPhone is actually also catching up now. Interesting background, by the way.
I think Shashank is getting excited
For the next stuff in the iPhone.
for the next news. Yeah.
Like when I saw that on the stage when they were talking about the magnets, I couldn't help myself and think about the Breaking Bad fan, and they did a lot of they use magnet the real way in that. So yeah. So that brings me MagSafe magnets. Like Apple also introduced magnets in the phone. So, which is a little bit of crazy idea that you have a magnet on the phone, solves some problem that you have, opens up a new set of accessories that what you can attach without actually having anything there, without sticking something on the back and all those stuff that you can attach to a strong magnet there. But I think there is, what do you guys think about that? And then I will get into like what I think about it.
I think
Apple. Go ahead, Amol. Yeah.
so. I think magnets in general are interesting. The last time Apple had the magnets in their stuff was when the charging the laptop, right? And that became very hit, and that was, I think, called the Steve Jobs idea in general. And this is like one of the again they are trying to bring it back, and
actually moved it from the Mac Pro, which I hate. With the Mac Pros have USB-C charger, which is not MagSafe, and it becomes like really annoying. Like I actually broke one of them actually, like when my laptop actually slipped out of my lap, and then it kind of broke the USB-C charger there.
Exactly, right. So this is the new update. Basically, now they're bringing the magnet back. I think it's a good update. And then also I use my watch with the magnet when it snaps in during the charger. It feels amazing. Even in the night when actually I'm very tired, I just know that if I just drop it there, it might actually catch with the magnet with the charging.
That's why they did it for. Like the main reason they wanted to do is for like the wireless charging.
Wireless charging, yeah.
And the thing about wireless charging is like if it's not a complete overlap between the phone and the charger, it charges slow. And that's where like people will complain that's not working fine. So Apple probably came out with a good idea that, okay, if we put magnets in the back and that the charging can just snap on, then it's 100% coverage and it can fast charge wirelessly.
I mean, that did open a few other problems, maybe potential problems. I don't know to what extent, as you said, Shashank, but Apple does claim and say that it is not going to create any problem, especially when if you have your credit cards or hotel room keys and you keep it next to your phone.
Did Apple say that?
I mean, people who covered this news article, that's I don't think Apple officially said anything related to that.
So,
but phones generally just have magnetism, so that's kind of interesting for if you keep your cards next to your phone, they will get demagnetized, the cards, and then you have to wait or replace those cards. So
imagine that, like now you are having a powerful magnet on the back of the phone. Like I think this is a good stuff to bring in, but it has its pros and cons. The cons are pretty heavy, I would say. One thing is exactly about, as you were mentioning, the credit cards have magnetic strips in it. The hotel key rooms have magnetic strips in it. There are other stuff which has magnetic information inside your stuff, like it could be your office card or anything like that. And this thing can actually mess with that. Like, so having magnets in your pocket, they also, classic Apple, so they created a problem and they solved the problem by launching their own Apple wallet, right? Which a leather wallet, which is actually kind of you can keep the magnetic stuff
Credit
inside.
card safe. Yeah.
It's safe from magnets there. But I mean, now like if you buy that and if you keep trying to keep some magnetic stuff, you end up buying that expensive piece of wallet.
And
So-
later on, they will say that why don't you get an Apple credit card also? That's magnet safe too. So you get rid of all your other credit cards. You don't
Well,
need a transit card. Why don't you just use Apple for tapping into? So you have the entire ecosystem.
Well, they're anyway selling the credit card, right? So that fits in completely. I have the Apple credit card now.
Yeah.
By the way, on their website, they do mention that their MagSafe is basically protected from the magnet and it should not impact them. But then they do not mention that does the magnet inside the phone itself can impact the other credit cards which are not using the MagSafe wallet.
Interesting to see. Like, I won't be surprised and shocked if like a lot of people start complaining about this, but that's fine. Like, as Steve Jobs said, you are probably not holding your phone correctly.
Yeah, remember that event.
Apple might come back and say, "Oh, you're not using the
You're
phone.
not using it properly. Yeah,
Keep the keys in the pocket. Like, why? Are you keeping-"
exactly. Yeah.
All right, that kind of I think. Is there anything else? Oh yeah, I mean, there's another small thing in the iPhone which I think is exciting. Not very exciting, but it makes iPhone more resistant to cracks and everything. They are coming up with a ceramic shield on glass on the front. They have, and they are claiming it's going to be 4x drop performance. I don't know what drop performance means. Like what I understood from that is like, okay, it's gonna not break.
I think I know what it means. Earlier, if you dropped your iPhone from 10 floors, now you can drop it from 40 floors and it should still withstand that.
I think Preet is gonna try from it. Like, which floor you are on right now?
Not too high.
What was that? 7th, right?
10th.
10th. Yeah, so you can try from 10th, and then we'll go to the 40th after that.
So this could be just an event, right? If you are able to break the iPhone glass, then you get a free iPhone.
Oh man, I think in the YouTube right now, the moment it is launched, we know that there are a lot of people who actually try it and upload it. So it will be interesting that what kind of things people upload.
The most,
But
the more interesting question would be, will it blend?
Of course. Inside a Ninja foodie.
Cool, man. Like, this was interesting. Guys, I think we are out of time. Let's wrap this up. We'll come back with a quick episode, like, and we'll make up for the gap we had in previous episode and this episode. So we have a couple of more interesting ideas which we want to record in the next couple of days. We will do that. But don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are on YouTube. We are on all the big podcast platforms like Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and all other podcasts. Like there are 8 or 9 of them, and we are all there. So search for #techLGTM. All right, ciao.
Take care,
Bye.
guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.